What is up, YouTube? My name is Buddy Blues, and today we're doing an AMA. That stands for Ask Me Anything, and I should have been more specific and said Ask Me Anything about guitars. I got a lot of weird questions. Let us begin. Alright, I'm going to be reading these off my phone, and I will be putting the question underneath. Adrian Romero 19 says, how did you start learning guitar and what made you so good? Number one, Adrian, thank you. Number two, I started playing guitar back home in Lebanon when I was, I think, 14, 15 years old. I was classically trained in piano and I thought I wanted something else, something different. So right around the time I started obsessing about guitars and electric guitars and stuff like that, one of our neighbors had a bass and he was playing and he had the door cracked open and I just blew it wide open. I'm like, what is that? I want to learn that. Is that an electric guitar? He says, no, that's a bass. And he introduced me to everything. So he was a bass player. He taught me chords. He taught me pretty much how to play guitar. And he introduced me to blues and Pink Floyd, which shaped me today, really, musically. His name is Ali Slee. I'm going to link his website below. You should buy his CD. I'm on the title track of that CD. It was a great little full circle type thing. To answer the second part of the question of what made you so good, thanks again. It's not a matter of what made you so good. It's how many... It's not just scales and chords. Everybody can do that. Everybody can do scales and chords. It's a matter of how you use it, right? So I started listening to a lot of different genres of music. So there was a time where I was heavily into gypsy jazz, for example. Then there was a time where I was into jazz. Then obviously hardcore blues, Pink Floyd, stuff like that. So whenever you listen to a lot of this stuff and you try to emulate the greats, meaning steal from the greats or borrow, if you will, it starts shaping your tone and your sound, and I think you should do that too. Question number two. Ayrton_CV says, best overdrive type of circuit to play blues on a clean amp. BBTS or clone, meaning blues breaker, tube screamer, or clone. It really depends. So what kind of sound are you looking for? If you're looking for that big, that neck pickup, John Mayer sound, you would go for a blues breaker type pedal, for example, like middle of the neck, that stuff. If you want something more out of your amp, if you don't want to dime a clone, for example, we're talking about the clone, sorry. If you want something more out of your amp, like a little very good mid boost, you'd go for a clone, maybe have the amp up a bit. I mean, tube screamer, you can never go wrong. SRV wasn't wrong. So it really depends on what you want. If you have a budget for two, get a clone and a blues breaker type pedal. Put them next to each other and experiment with them. _Juan.e asks, what makes Strats your favorite style of guitar? Brilliant question. You probably think I'm gonna say it's the pickups, it's the single coils. Wrong! It's actually my favorite guitarist's choice, really. So Eric Johnson, Jimi Hendrix, all these guys, you get that Strat sound. It just does so much. Of course, obviously the single coil sound is great, but it all started with my fascination with David Gilmour, Eric Johnson, Hendrix, SRV. So all these people use Strats preliminarily, right? So I wanted that sound and I hovered towards it and I just bonded with it. Plus where the switch is perfect for my pinky and stuff like that. And the volume I love where the volume knob is. A lot of people complain about it, like they hit it, but I love where it is because I can control it all the time. On a Les Paul, on that PRS, for example, the volumes are way down. So if I'm playing and the switch is up here, right? So if I'm playing, I want to switch and all that, the Strat is just all there with a pinky. So it's ergonomic, it's great, sounds amazing, and I love it. Next question. Michael Joyce asks, are you better off buying a good guitar and upgrading it or saving up and buying the one that you really want? It depends. It's a budget thing. It's a person per person type thing. So if you buy for example, I recently bought an Epiphone Casino, right? That specific, I'm not saying all Epiphones are bad. That specific Casino sucks when it comes to electronics and pickups, right? So I know these have to go. At the end of the day, I know I'm gonna end up with an absolutely killer guitar. I did the same with that one, that Black Sheraton. I've changed everything, and you've heard it in a lot of my videos. It sounds out of this world. So it has a lot of pickups, it has RS Guitar Works knobs. I've upgraded the nut. God, I'm a child. I've upgraded the nut. I've upgraded the tuners and all that. So yeah, it really depends. If you save up and you get the guitar that you want, that you really want, there's not much upgrading you're gonna do. For example, that PRS, I'm never gonna touch anything on it. It really was perfect out of the box. Homeboy RJ says, where does one acquire such a great mustache and beard combination? I'm Arabic. I hope that helps. Somewhat Creative asks, what's the scariest animal? Cardi B. The Foxy J asks, new music release when? Soon. Very soon, I promise. It'll be announced very soon. Mike_Austy asks, how are you liking that DGT? How does it stack up against the 594? I prefer the 594 over the DGT solely because it's more vintage sounding. It's more of a vintage Les Paul sound. I can get a 335 or a Les Paul sound out of it, and I think for me, I prefer it more than the other one. If you crave that trem, if you crave maybe hotter, differently voiced pickups and stuff like that, a different layout, a switch in a different place, I would go for the DGT. MD Francisco 420 asks, LOL, what's the best method to make a wah pedal not squeak when using? Is it squeaking, can you hear it through the amp, or is it just the thing itself? Because if it is, they make this gel/lube, LOL, that you can put on the wheel. So there's like a mechanism with teeth, right? And another mechanism that does hold this, just lubricate that. WD-40. If it's squeaking through the amp, get another wah pedal. Liam G has two questions. Liam G_375 asks, most underrated and overlooked overdrive, Lila Drive. I'm not even gonna, that's it, Lila Drive. The most underrated and overlooked pedal overdrive currently in the world is the Lila Drive. Here, get the Lila Drive. Listen to this, you're gonna love the Lila Drive. Liam G's second question is, do you think signature products made for artists that have long passed are moral? If it's moral. I mean, generally, the estate is, I don't know if I want to weigh in on this, but the estate generally is what's working. So PRS just released this HX100 Hendrix amp, right? And it's authentic Hendrix and all that. So Ginny Hendrix, I believe that's her name, his sister, who is in charge of the Hendrix brand. She's also in charge of the Hendrix estate. They're the ones who deal with it. So I really don't know. You can see it as the artist left a legacy for his family. I think I see it that way. I may be wrong. Please don't kill me in the comments. El Popo_Guitarrista says, do you use, oh, I know who that is. I have a funny story about this person. So this person, El Popo, obviously, police, right? Guitarrista, guitarist. So he's a cop who plays guitar. Wonderful person. I was sitting outside Guitar Center once on the bench, waiting for something to happen inside. And I see a policeman show up in uniform, looks at me, points at me and says, it's you. I'm like, no, it isn't. He says, yes, it is. It's you. You're the guy. I'm like, I am not the guy you're looking for. And he says, you're the guy on YouTube. I'm like, oh God, maybe work on the approach a bit. But anyway, it was a funny story. He asks, do you use compressors and which one would you recommend? I do, and it's not an always on thing unless I have a Strat. If I'm playing a Strat through my rig, it's always on. The Wampler Ego is an absolute great pedal. I made a video about it here. It does everything. For me, a compressor has to have a blend where you get to blend in your dry signal. I like that better so that it's not completely squished or nasal or the tone is killed. So Wampler Ego. If I'm playing humbuckers, it's usually off. The Real Jeff Davis asks, what do you think about Gretsch guitars? I love Gretsch guitars. I used to have one. I sold it. It wasn't the nice ones, the made in Japan ones. It was another one. But I like them. I really do. I don't currently own one. I don't think I'm craving that sound right now. Rodolfo Lozano says, your desert island rig, 1 amp, 1 guitar, 1 pedal, that you own. That I own. I was going to say 57 Strat and a 65 Deluxe Reverb, but I don't own these. So, that I own. Probably my LSL Satakoi, the JTM 45, the Chariotone JTM 45, and the Vertex Ultraphonics Overdrive. Because I can get the really bright overdriven sounds from the amp, and I can get that smooth overdrive from the Ultraphonics. If I dime both, I can get into fuzz territory, use my volume. There you go, I've solved it. Next, I'm gonna butcher that name. Cole.Van Wart says, Tube Screamer into Klon or Klon into Tube Screamer. I don't generally use them together. I find them both to be very mid-humpy, so it'd be a lot of mids. But if I were to do it, I would put the Klon last. So Tube Screamer into Klon. Next, SoCal_Spudley asks, of the guitars you currently own, which one is your favorite? Currently, the LSL Satikoi, because it does everything. Absolutely everything. I love that guitar. Timothy Dorcas asks, I started playing guitar last year during the event, the pandemic, I'm assuming. Yeah, a lot of people did. I have learned my cage positions and some chord shapes. At this point, I'm struggling to get to the next level. Any suggestions? Second question, did you get good enough to play in a band first, or did you play in a band and then got better? Definitely the second. I was terrible. I was in a band, but I was terrible. So I got in a band with my brother and a friend, and pretty much my brother whipped me into shape, into getting better as a musician, because I had to keep up with him and I had to keep up with like the musicians that we played. So that teaches you a lot. Surround yourself with better musicians. Oh my God, boy, does that teach you quick. But to answer your first question, we're all there. We all get there. We're all there. The highest of people always get there. So the thing is, once you reach that plateau, you have to change something up. What I did, what worked for me, and I hope it works for you, is I started listening to different type of music. So all I played before was Pink Floyd and blues and nothing else. If it wasn't SRV or Gilmore, I didn't want to hear it. I didn't want to play it. That's just not... You can go that route and you can be the most killer blues player on earth, or a killer Pink Floyd cover band. Nothing wrong with that. But I wanted to do more. So from there, I branched into Eric Johnson, for example. And then from there, I started listening to B.B. King. So we're talking a lot of different styles here. And I started to emulate them, and that ended up helping me quite a bit. But listening to different types of music is very important. Paul Ashton asked, are you the secret love child of Buddy Love? The Eddie Murphy character? Yes, I am. The 92 Project asks, what's the last record you purchased? Oof. So this has to be before Spotify, right? Physical record? I think it was On an Island by David Gilmour. I think. Eric Bailey asks, if you were to build a pedal board for a Vox AC15 geared towards a bluesy rock tone, what would it be? No more than 7 pedals. I'll give you one pedal. A robotic celebrity head. That. If you want to go super simple. Because your AC15 has a top boost thing, right? And that sounds incredible. So you can dime that a bit, turn the master down. And then your October audio on top of that would be, you could get it to go into like fuzz territory, stuff like that, and then volume. So that's one option. The other option is, so assuming you're playing single coils, I would go maybe fuzz, wah, compressor. It really depends if they have buffers or not, but we're gonna assume that they don't. So compressor fuzz, wah, compressor fuzz, sorry. 2 types of overdrive, so maybe a Lila drive and a clon, maybe a November gain and a clon, it really depends. And finish that up with like a nice little touch of univibe, maybe a chorus, and there you go, boom. Walter R. asks, what made you get into playing guitar? Do you play any other places besides Florida? What's your band? Also, will you use that beauty of a 335 on your wall? That one? Yeah, I've used it several times. Unless you're talking about the old red one. I've sold that one to one of you guys, to one of the viewers. That thing is just dying to be played on your next video. You know what, Walter? I will do just that for you. What made you get into playing guitar? Like I said, the whole piano thing, met the neighbor, he got me into guitars, I was obsessed over guitars. I wanted to play the Sweet Dreams riff by Marilyn Manson. That's what really what I wanted to do. Do you play any other places besides Florida, and what is your band? My band is the Buddy Blues Band. And yes, we play a lot of places other than Florida, but there is a pandemic that stopped everything. However, on September 24th, we're going to be in Indianapolis. So if you're in Indiana, come see us. We're playing a blues festival there. But yes, we play all over. We play a lot of shows. Before the pandemic, we averaged about 3 to 4 shows a week. Now it's about 1 to 2, which again, I'm not complaining. I'm happy to be out there. Everything's reopening little by little, safely. Sunburst Strats asks, does Barry Manilow know that you raid his wardrobe? See, I got a lot of questions like these, and it's getting kind of annoying. I just don't understand what could give you the idea that I dress like Barry Manilow. I don't even think I know who that is. God.
Where are you going?
To the Copacabana! Anyway, thank you so much for tuning in, ladies and gentlemen, on this AMA, our very first AMA with Buddy Blues, your host, me, I hope you enjoyed it, and if I missed your question or you want to ask me something else, put it in the comments below, pretty please. And if you enjoyed this AMA, we can do another one. You just have to let me know. I enjoyed this AMA, Buddy Blues, and if you didn't, we're gonna do another one soon. I have been Buddy Blues and you have been the people of the blues. Thank you so much for watching this week and I will see you next Tuesday.